Hey, what's up? It's your boy Stephen McCoy, and you are listening and watching Sessions with Stephen. And today we have award-winning Mr. Ivo Raza. He is an award-winning film and producer and writer. He does it all. And we also have Mr. Actor and activist Chaz Bono. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey,
Good. Thank you.
thanks for having us.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's so exciting. I mean, you are does amazing work, and then Chad, you definitely changed pretty much the world in a sense. You contributed to so many changes in the world. So I just have to say thank you for your bravery as well. Now we're here to talk about Camp Reboot, and you guys have to talk to us about it.
So Reboot Camp is I call it
Reboot Camp. Yeah.
Reboot Camp. It's not boot camp, it's
I had too much coffee today. I think that's what it is. I was excited.
This is number 3. So it's a comedy satire, and it's I call it fictional documentary. Some call it mockumentary, about these two filmmakers, brothers, who, instead of making a documentary from the outside, decide to create the subject of their documentary, which is Reboot Camp, run it and shoot it as it happens, so that they can show to the world how easy it is to manipulate people. And of course, they gain some success with their crazy shenanigans.
Yeah.
And then money gets involved, and people want to take over, and there's a big conflict in the story, which then goes into a whole other direction.
Yeah. It's just it was definitely a different film. I didn't know at first, like I told you earlier, that it was so interesting, because last night when I took it to take a look at the complete film, it was like my mind was already cluttered, and I just needed a clear mind. So this morning I watched the full thing, and it was like I was locked in. So I would say to everyone, definitely tune into that. I mean, it's amazing. The cast, oh my God, it's completely diverse, and it's so many. You had Jawu, you had Shar, and you had Chaz. I mean, how did you get all of the Chaz? Can you tell us, how did you get involved in this project?
I got involved. I mean, I think the publicist knew my publicist, so I got the script originally through my publicist, read the script, liked it, and then my manager and David had known each other forever. So we set up a meeting, and Ivo and David and my manager, sat down and talked about the film and the way they were going to do it, and it just sounded, I liked the script. It sounded like fun. And so, I was in, and really from the start, I remember we had pretty close to, after I was cast, there was a table read of the script. And I just remember kind of going, wow, okay, this is going to be really good. Like, the table read was great. And we didn't, everybody wasn't even cast yet. And, and it certainly was, because there was so many improvisations, and they brought so many different people in, here and there, that weren't part of the script. It just kind of grew from there. So
this was obviously a complete different project for you, obviously. And I felt like you mixed a little bit of reality TV to documentary and film all in one. Was there any challenging pieces to build this project?
Many challenges, like any film project has, because you're dealing with so many moving parts, and even just writing the script, because you have to write multiple stories at the same time. So you have the story of the camp, but then you have the story of the brothers, and you have the individual stories of each of these members of the camp, the campers, as we call them. And so to get that right and just have just enough of everything to keep everything moving in the right direction is a balancing act. And then with, you know, to me, from the beginning, I wrote the script and kept it fairly short, about 90 pages, because I wanted to have space for going off the rails in these scenes. And, you know, so when we shot everything, it's like, we have to get what is scripted. That's the spine, and that's the main story. But then, you know, bring your own stuff, you know, like, it was Chaz's idea to go and say, you know what, I'm going to be the Kool-Aid drinking,
I love
you know, the biggest fan, right? And so everybody kind of brought this level of involvement,
yeah,
which was wonderful, because at that point it's then theirs. So it's not anymore like I have a role, but and so everybody is just in it. And I think that was the wonderful thing of everybody bringing really an elevated approach to this, and it shows. We had an amazing cast, and there's not one where you go like, yeah, I wish I had somebody else. No, this was great. So
yeah, because when I saw the list, when I saw the list of this cast, and I got the email and everything, I'm like, this has to be some sort of scam or something. Because it was just such a diverse, I'm like, this is a festival of people that I just couldn't wait to watch. I can only imagine the story.
Well, the diversity was built in by design. To me, it was supremely important to have a cast that represents us.
Yeah.
And so that was like, not compromising on that. Now, who and how and what, that was fluid, right?
Yeah.
It didn't have to be like, well, you know, this guy has to be Asian and this guy has to be gay, and none of that. It was like, hey, if the right person comes in, that's who we'll cast. So when we did our casting breakdowns, for example, the Jimmy role was supposed to be like a surfer dude, California kid. Then Daniel came in and read, and he just brought it on to his own, and he's a gay man, and he's Asian. And we're like, you know what? Jimmy is a gay Asian man who's dealing with his dad issues. And so that kind of fluidity happened. And this is also part of the reason why this cast was so wonderful in the end, because it was a very organic process, which I find casting sometimes is not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one thing I definitely love about it is the dry humor. Chaz, are you a humorous person in your personal life?
Yeah. I mean, I everybody likes to think that they have a sense of humor. Yeah, I have a fairly dry sense of humor, I think, in my real life. But you know, I also, when I'm acting, I like to, you know, make fun, big, bold, you know, decisions, you know, choices, and this definitely, you know, lent itself to having moments of that, which was great.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need a laugh during this time. And it's just so interesting because although this is a comedy, this is obviously something that is happening in the world. There are cults, there are sort of organizations that come together like this. And a lot of people, there's this whole awareness of mental health and everyone just trying to find some sort of escape. And when I watch a film, I always try to, a new film, my question is, why now? Why is this important? So obviously you guys hit it right on the nail with this. Where do you guys go when you guys are having a mental situation where you just need to clear your head? Where do you run to?
I have found that hiking and being in the woods helps me a lot. There's the Japanese have this forest washing concept, and there's a word for it, and I can never forget the Japanese word for it. But I totally believe in that. There's this energy and oxygen, and I don't know what it is, and that just helps me. And I've done therapy, I've done all kinds of things, and it's all helpful. But that to me is key. Just kind of spend some time without the noise, leave the phones behind, and
yeah, absolutely. Chad?
Well, I mean, I think on a, just on like a daily de-stress thing, video games are kind of a thing for me that, I really enjoy and can just, get me out of my head, get me out of my space when I need to, for sure.
I love that. And what would be the ground story for you guys? The story that you want to be told through this film? Like, what do you want people to take away from this after they watch it?
Well, the first thing I want them to take away is a bunch of laughter, because
I
hope they find it funny and entertaining.
Oh, for sure.
In terms, there's an old Hollywood saying, if you want to send a message, send a telegram, right? So you make a film for entertainment purposes. That, having said that, it doesn't mean there shouldn't be the subtext. There shouldn't be the what's it about for real.
Yeah.
Because that informs the storytelling, I think, in a more profound way. And so, to me, it's about critical thinking. You can't just wholesale swallow what somebody's just blurting out, right? You gotta have a critical thinking cap on and say, hey, hold on, consider the source, consider their motives too. Is somebody trying to manipulate you? I mean, I had conversations with some actors, I'm not gonna name anybody, and they were like, you're making fun of self-help. I'm like, no, I'm making fun of con artists.
Right.
I believe in self-help.
Right.
But this is exactly the problem, because you can't commingle and confound those two things. There's genuine people who want to help, and there's people who genuinely want to take advantage of you. And that, to me, is the key takeaway here.
Absolutely. I mean, even in the film, it starts off with a quote, you make anyone believe anything. As long as you wear the right costume, you can make anyone believe anything. So I feel like that it draws right back to the beginning of the film. So
it is.
Perfect.
It is. And look, I mean, if you take a look at David Lipper, who was the dual role of Gordon and Seymour, I mean, he did a wonderful job. But towards the end, everybody's like, man, this is coming too natural to you. Like, you could be a cult leader, because it was so powerful. And it sucks you in, and everybody can be sucked in. I mean, there's nobody who's immune to that. So it's potentially quite, tricky.
Yeah, and I have to say, where can people where can we view this? Obviously, I've seen it, but where can everyone see it? And that my question is, because I just wish we were in a movie theater, because I would have liked to have been in a movie theater, because I was laughing on my way from my room to my living room. I mean, it was great though.
We were supposed to have a theatrical release limited, New York and LA, but then of course COVID hit, and so it all, when we were debating, should we wait or should we just go? And so we decided, let's just go, because the new James Bond film is still waiting, so it's like, come on.
Yeah. Exactly.
So where can you see it? It's going to be released wide on all the key TVOD channels May 4th. So Comcast, iTunes, whatever subscription you have, that has the rental and the paid option is where it's going to be released. We can obviously provide you with a full list after the call.
Absolutely, yeah. So you guys make sure that you check out our Reboot Camp, and I thank you guys so much for coming on. And please tell us if you have any other projects coming up. We'd love to hear. How can we stay tuned into those?
We're trying to actually develop this into a TV series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have
I
Mike
think
Short
that
from.
can work. I think it can work.
It can absolutely work. We
Absolutely.
believe in it. We have Mike Short from Schitt's Creek as on our team, which is fantastic. He's brilliant. So we're it's in the works. So let's see what happens. You know?
This is a very different piece. So I truly feel like we need something different. It's documentary, it's reality, it's acting all in one. I mean, it's good.
Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much again for coming on to Sessions with Steven, and come on again. But when the TV series comes, come on and talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, subscribe now.